Good morning, and as always, welcome back and thank you for spending the next few minutes with me. I have to tell you, as we launch out today, infidelity or addiction is a hell of a thing. It is life-changing, life-altering trauma. It is so much that it can, like a wet towel, wring you out where you feel broken and lost, and you just feel absolutely hopeless. And I'm glad that you're here today. I hope that today can give you not just hope, but some practical insight on how to heal a little bit more, maybe laugh a little bit more, hope a little bit more, and somehow find some light in the middle of one of the darkest tunnels you've probably ever been through. Some of you that may have a little bit more time underneath your belt, if you will resonate with this. Some of you that are in the throes of where do I go, what do I do, how do I move through this, might resonate with this message as well. And the message is this, that on the road to healing, if you're trying to save your relationship, whether unfaithful or betrayed, on the road to healing, there's a point where you have to make a commitment to not lose yourself. I have talked to, I would say, thousands of men and women who, in an effort to save their relationship, felt like they were losing themselves. Now, okay, there's some people who really are full of pride and arrogance, and the slightest bit of inconvenience, the slightest bit of humility, the slightest bit of ownership causes them to say, I feel like I'm losing myself. Or maybe you're laying your pride down and taking an honest look at your actions or your reactions and maybe getting serious and honest with yourself. For many more, it might be more that, man, I feel like I'm trying to become someone that I'm just not. And we can absolutely lose ourselves or feel like we are losing ourselves as we try and save our relationship. We can start to try and do things that go against who we are, go against our character, our integrity, go against our values. It can feel like we are allowing people to cross boundaries in an effort to try and save our relationship. And then somewhere along the way, we start to say, I don't like this. I feel like I am losing part of myself and I'm losing respect for myself. And that's a dangerous place. The right expert can help you understand, are you truly losing yourself, or are you having to face the music, if you will, of maybe some humility, maybe some stubbornness, maybe some pride and arrogance, and maybe you are wrestling with some truths that you haven't had to wrestle with. I don't know. The right expert will help you. But for the sake of today's video, we have to understand that if we lose respect for ourselves in recovery work, it's probably one of the biggest red flags to the status of our personal work. One of the most difficult principles, concepts, factors to understand in repair work is that if the unfaithful and the betrayed can't learn how to communicate and process each other's feelings and hurts and pains and frustrations in a calm way without each other feeling like they're judging and shaming them, then the relationship is going to remain somewhat paralyzed, at least impinged, and that's probably not the relationship you want anyway. That's probably not what you're working so hard to gain, is a stuffy, compacted relationship where you can't process with each other, and then the whole system breaks down anyway, and you say, why are we doing this? This is miserable and not what each other wants or even deserves. For example, it is overwhelmingly awful the way society treats the betrayed spouse or partner. It's as though they are seen as a loser for being willing to stay in the relationship with an unfaithful spouse or partner. There's just this shame. that is heaped on them. There is this overwhelming darkness that is labeled on them, that they're weak, they're unattractive, that they are just second-class people, that they are not smart, that they couldn't get anybody else. All this shaming crap is heaped on them when they decide to stay in a relationship. You can call it social shame if you like. And there has to be help for the betrayed to be able to hold their head high and live a life that they are proud of, because it's your life if you're a betrayed. This is your life. On your deathbed, you're not going to be worried about all the people that had opinions about all this stuff. You're going to want to be able to hold your head high, respect yourself for the choices that you've made, whether you stayed or whether you left. For the betrayed, respecting yourself for having repair work that speaks to you respecting yourself can look a few ways. Number one, it's having boundaries that say, hey, it's not okay for you, unfaithful, to keep doing these things. Blaming me, refusing to stop acting out, refusing to end the affair. I mean, those types of things, there's a point where you say, hey, I have to be able to respect myself and I can no longer tolerate this behavior from you. Next is being able to process it. You, the betrayed, have to be able to process the trauma. If you can't, there comes a point when you are not going to respect yourself. You're going to feel like you're losing yourself because you're in so much pain, so much hurt, and you won't process it, and your life starts to just whittle away. The joy starts to whittle away, and you just become so hurt, so shut down. The other added component is you have to be able to process it with the unfaithful. So unfaithful, listen up. If the betrayed can't process with you, they're going to start to lose themselves. And you play a critical role in helping them be able to emote and share and talk and express. No, not shame, harass, abuse, throw things, all that stuff. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But you, the unfaithful, play a critical role in helping the betrayed process their trauma. They absolutely have to. It's not just about processing with you. It's about processing with experts and third parties who know what they are doing, who can help them heal, who are experts, who've been through infidelity, who've treated it for decades, or at least a decade, that have treated more than just enough cases to be dangerous, but actually know what they are doing. Ultimately, the betrayed wants to be able to stay because they chose to stay. They want to stay because they are making a decision, not based upon kids only, not based upon finances or assets or all of this, but they can hold their head up high and say, hey, I haven't lost myself. I've regained love for myself, respect for myself because of the choices that I have made. Here are some pointers for the unfaithful to maintain respect for themselves and not lose themselves. Number one is you have to admit that this has actually happened. To live in denial or to live in avoidance, perpetual avoidance, which I hear so much of, only makes it worse. It doesn't help you reconnect with yourself and get healthy. It actually starts to make you lose touch with reality. It becomes very narcissistic because you're not in touch with what your choices have done to other people. And you begin to lose connection with yourself. And so you have to avoid, you have to distract. And I'm telling you, burnout is coming. You're going to circle the drain eventually because you can only distract yourself and you can only avoid it for so long. And the pain becomes unbearable. Next is working to forgive yourself, because if you can't forgive yourself, you're going to keep shaming yourself and you're going to keep swirling in self-hatred and shame. And then you're going to start to act out and relapse and do all the things that you don't want to do, because when we feel shame and when we are overcome with shame, we start to keep doing shameful things time and time again. Okay, this is going to be the touchiest thing that I say. Yes, touchiest. Most potential for confusion. The unfaithful has every right to draw boundaries to be able to say, hey, my actions were awful, but I'm still a human being and I still deserve respect, and I'm not comfortable with you treating me this way. Now, there's a difference There should be freedom for the betrayed to, yes, get angry and upset and emote, but the constant shaming, calling of names, throwing things, domestic abuse, things of that nature that are built upon rage and built upon lashing out and shaming and vengeance are not going to help the healing process. I understand that you're hurt and you're angry, but that's not going to bring healing. That's going to have the opposite effect. And so it is okay for the unfaithful to say, hey, listen, I can't do this. Now, that does not mean unfaithful that at the smallest moment of emotion, at the smallest moment of trying to process their pain, that you say, hold on, this is a boundary. I will not. No, that doesn't work. For more help, you can reach out to us as an organization, and you can find how those boundaries may need to look. Finally, unfaithful, it's time to go forward with awareness and humility for your choices. Doesn't mean that you have to live in shame and self-hatred the rest of your life. You can go forward, but going forward does not mean that you take the approach of, I'm not that person anymore. I don't need to be talked to about it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. No, I'm a new person. It has been 30 days. No, that's not it. There's a process of going forward that says, hey man, I'm aware of what I've done. I hate what I've done. I can't make it go away, but I can own it and I can be safe for my betrayed to process. Because I am going forward, but with humility and awareness for what my choices have done and the pain and the damage that they have caused. It is vital that you both, on the journey to restoration, do not lose yourself, but may actually find another part of yourselves, a healthier part, a more courageous part, a humble part, a part that is far more authentic and genuine than you may have ever really known about yourself and each other. But you don't have to lose yourself. Don't believe society out there. Don't believe the advisors that say that you're going to lose yourself for staying. No, that's not true. You can find yourself whether you stay or whether you go.